Feuchamaich, ye Olde Scot the Celtic podcast. Kimraha Hula Dunya, how is everyone? On today's show in Feuchamaich, Beagan, Gaelic, that's Let's Try a Little Gaelic. We're in that traveling Gaelic series, and we're getting towards the end. We got a couple left, but this one's going to be on shopping in Gaelic. In Celtic history, it's about the House of the Bins. Everyday Celtic ways, it's about Scottish Island's tradition of Skelking. And we're going to hear music from the Selkie Girls, Katrina Watt, Karina Hewitt, and Rachel Sermani. And as always, it's a wee bit of Irish trivia to test your knowledge to start us off. Believe it or not, there is a country in the world that drinks more Guinness than Ireland. And guess what? It's not America. All right, tell me what it is. Check out Ye Olde Scot Facebook group where you can be a part of our Celtic culture. And keep an eye out for all the different videos our YouTube channel and Facebook group have to offer. Feuchamaich, let's kick this thing off.
Good.
Well, I took a stroll down the old long walk of a day, and I met a little girl and we stopped to talk of a fine soft day, and I asked you, friend, what's a fella to do? 'Cause her hair was black and her eyes were blue, and I knew right then I'd be taking a whirl around the salty pond with a Galway girl. We were halfway there when the rain came down of a day, and she asked me up to a flat downtown of a fine soft day, and I asked you, friend, what's a fella to do? 'Cause her hair was black and her eyes were blue. So I took her hand and I gave it a twirl, and I lost my heart to a Galway girl. When I awoke, I was all alone, with a broken heart and a ticket home. And I asked you, friend, what would you do if her hair was black and her eyes were blue? I've traveled around, been all over the world. Boys, I ain't never seen nothing like a Galway girl.
All right, that was Galway Girl by the Selkie Girls. And now it's time for Feuchamaich Beagan Gaelic. Let's try a little Gaelic. Now, I'm not an authority on the Gaelic language. I just love learning it. I struggle like most. So what I teach comes right from well-respected Gaelic teachers. So I hope you'll find it interesting, informative, and fun. And as always, I display on the screen what I am discussing so you can follow along. Remember that when you're traveling to Gaelic-speaking parts of the world, it is bilingual, so you won't really get stuck. But it's a good place to practice your Gaelic. So we're going to work on shopping in Gaelic. All right, and our first one today is, do you have this in my size? Avail show akit na mo viet. How much is this? J and ha show a kosk. That's too expensive. Ha a ro yor. Expensive. Door. Cheap. Sore. I can't afford it. Chan uren guv a pegig. I don't want it. Chan yomi a geri. You're cheating me. Ha ugam velig. I'm not interested. Chaniel ui akam. Okay, I'll take it. Kershmaha. Gavi mi a. Can I have a bag? And uran guv puka avi akam. Do you ship overseas? Ambi u a sholag hal arish. I need. All right. And I got a bunch of I need. So I need is Fimi and toothpaste, Poka, Feuchamaich, a toothbrush, Brush, Feuchamaich, soap, Shivan, shampoo, pain reliever, Fokig, Pian, cold medicine, Kuni, Fur, stomach medicine, Laius stomach, a razor, and a postcard, Karst Post. Oh, writing paper Ersonskriv, a pen, and probably the most important, a Gaelic English dictionary, Fakr, Gaelic, Berla. All right, that's it for Feuchamaich Beagan Gaelic.
Ristjum bach minje mörst, Churgach vinjer fokerig, Rakeken chatu am huskig mi, Gun haier, gun evnes, gun reetje for jorse, Rakeken chatu am huskig mi. Mat benua sagu ik nechne shomer gunayur gunevne sirkerina honer shir hainen uishlene hueria trifosu da kekun chatu amus dig me. Ruskignen launen brynnen Dag skip kun chatu am huskig mi Kete ha skip sin au mer feglau nagus monien kun och shiver kjaunen am jaun dag mar hurien Shemes Geri Jorse Svatener Kato Gundus Geschif Mas Chikarnen Tawin Di Awoch Gauns na Korte Svatener Kato Gundus Geschif Na Nerik Shif Suas Aunen Karuatos Antonyalas Eterish Lenes Oishlen Huages Humantu Skiur Seg Shivai Beri Fuatin Nachwenigay Is Hianin Enkato Kusum Tacheli.
All right, that was Doljarn Rí Seamus by Katrina Watt. Today on Celtic History, we're talking about the House of Binns. Now, many legends surround the House of Binns and its most notorious resident, General Tam Dalyell. The table upon which the devil and the Tam supposedly played cards is from one of the many tales of his fascinating life. The House of the Binns is the ancestral home of the Dalyell family. One of its most infamous inhabitants, of course, was Thomas Dalyell. He lived from 1615 to 1685. He was general and commander-in-chief of the king's forces in Scotland. Dalyell first entered military service as a teenager and served in France before serving in Ulster, where he reached the rank of colonel. Now, he was imprisoned in the Tower of London after the Battle of Worcester in 1651, but managed to escape. He later fled to Russia, where he served Tsar Alex I, father of Peter the Great, in the Russo-Polish War, and in other conflicts against the Turks and the Tartars. Credited with bringing the thumbscrew, a torture device, over to Britain. His time in the Russian military also earned him the nickname the Muscovite Devil. It was after the suppression of the Pentland Rising in Rullian Green, at which over 1,200 captured Covenanters were, imprisoned in Greyfriars Kirkyard, that he gained his more common epithet, Bloody Tam. All right. Now, it was after Dalyell's death in 1685 that the legends surrounding Bloody Tam really began to develop. They include accounts of the general's cavalry boots marching around the house on their own at night, and of a ghostly rider on a white stallion galloping along the road towards the Binns. The most infamous tale concerns a marble-top table in the entrance hall. Dalyell allegedly used this table when he played cards with the devil. During one night, during a game, in order to finally beat his fiendish opponent, Dalyell placed a mirror behind the table so that he could read the devil's cards. Angered by the cheating, old Nick threw the table at the general, which narrowly missed him and ended up in a pond outside. The table was assumed missing, and its exact whereabouts were lost to time. However, 2 centuries later, during a drought in the summer of 1878, the table was rediscovered at the bottom of the dried-up Sergeant's Pond and restored to its rightful place inside the house. An interesting note about this object, it's beyond the legend, is that it was crafted out of white marble. The top is carved with a floral design where semi-precious or precious stones were once inlaid. Now, the stones are now missing, but we can imagine how luxurious it must have looked. It is attributed to be a piece of Mughal furniture brought back to Scotland from India by Dalyell during his travels abroad. Now, one distinct feature of this table that could be proof of the legend of Dalyell and the devil is something that wouldn't come off during its restoration, no matter how hard they tried. And it's described as a satanic hoof mark seared into the table. Indeed, the back of the corner of the table has a distinctive semicircular stain on it, and this is supposed to be the mark of the devil. Well, I'll let you decide. I'll show you the picture. All right, that's it for Celtic History Break.
What do you like?
All right, that was Why Do You Lie by Karina Hewitt. Now it's time for Everyday Celtic Ways. We're talking about the Scottish island tradition of skelking. Now, it's intriguing and unsettling, this Scottish island tradition of skelking. As winter came along, the skelkers moved from house to house, dancing around the fire and banging wooden staves on the floor in celebration of the supernatural. The tradition of skelking was observed in Shetland for hundreds of years, with its roots in the Norse history of the islands. Skelkers dressed in a straw skirt called a gloy, a short straw cloak, and a tall pointed straw hat with the costumes woven together using family crops. Skelking, it was a pagan custom when people, during a time when people hoped their rituals would bring back the sun during the winter, and ensure good crops. That's according to the local customs. For hundreds of years, skelkers went out on Halloween and over Yule, and even to some weddings on Shetland. Sometimes they were treated to a visit. Now, the cultural link to the skelkers is 100% Scandinavian for sure. It's very similar to the seasonal masquerade observed in the Faroes, except they use seaweed instead of straw. But this tradition quickly took hold in Gaelic-speaking parts of Scotland, as they tend to have a grasp on the supernatural. Now, skelking has nothing to do with the Scottish tradition of guising. The tradition was to play out the part of supernatural beings, and you didn't reveal who was in the costumes. There was supposed to be a suspension of disbelief. Children aged between 8 and 15 would most likely take part in the tradition. The leader was called the Scuddler, with the other main characters known as the Gaidhlig. A type of fearsome boogeyman character, the Gaidhlig was, although the Gaidhlig was to be feared once he appeared in a group. He wasn't anymore. He was just part of the pantheon of supernatural characters coming into your house to scare you to death, probably. Skelkers gathered around the fire, which would normally be in the center of the room, to dance. Quite often, the skelkers would carry wooden staves, which they would rap on the floor. It's very ritualistic. And then when they spoke, they disguised their voices. They would speak while breathing in. So it kind of gave this weird, eerie feel, almost a non-human element to the home. A major element of the skelker costume was the collection of foods. Traditionally, a sheepskin bag called the boogie that was traditionally used to hold grain would be passed around and food dropped in. People knew what the skelkers wanted most, though, and that was cooked meat. The tradition faded during the 19th century when islanders became more open to British customs and ways, and by the 1920s the custom was a shadow of its former self. Skelking was last observed, though, in Shetland on Yell in the 1970s, according to local accounts. All right, that's everything for Everyday Celtic Ways.
You're a lost soul, I know you're kind, for I have followed them, but never quite found myself where you all go to lose yourselves. Close my mouth not to ask for help, and my mother knows my eyes too well. You're a truth speaker with a heart of gold. Please keep me close, for I'd like to learn some. With fool's gold I try to hide my tongue, but from you speaks the very sun, and I pray that you will always hold on.
All right, that was Little Prayer by Rachel Sermani. Top Lava Harrison, that's it for today's podcast. But before I let you go, the trivia question answer. Believe it or not, there is a country in the world that drinks more Guinness than Ireland, and it's not America. It's Nigeria. All right, remember to check out my YouTube channel. It's got Celtic music, podcasts, Gaelic language, Gaelic song, Celtic history, plus lots more. And my Facebook group, where you can give me your insights and inputs on all things Celtic. Marshall Lee and Drozda, bye for now. But I'm going to let you go with the song. Breathe Easy by Rachel Sermani. A twofer. All right.
If I could take this wave to sea, do you think that we could sail out in the night? We must let no one know, so maybe if we go, we'll go unseen. I'll sing below the ripples, eat the seashells of the storm, and we'll swim, knowing they can't touch us. We'll swim, knowing they can't touch us. If eyes could stop their rumored lies, do you think that we could venture to the light? I'd even play my violin, scratching on the strings, a laughing joy. I don't want to be that crashing wave, but I'll give it one more try. And we'll swim, knowing rain can't touch us. We'll swim, knowing rain can't touch us. We'll swim, knowing rain can't touch us. We'll swim, knowing they can't touch us. And I'll shelter you from harm, and my love will keep you warm until all these fears have gone. And we'll swim, knowing rain can't touch us. We'll swim, knowing rain can't touch us. We'll swim, knowing rain can't touch us. We'll swim, knowing they can't touch us. Let me swim, let me swim.